I can't wait for when you're home. There'll be wine and sweet recline. I close my eyes, see the sailors spend their pay. My heart cries, but I could never walk away. For my love comes from above. My Chanel, do you not know? No matter where you go, we'll walk hand in hand into our promised land. You open the door, and my world fills up with light. I'm sliced to the core, but I'm gonna do what's right. We'll drink wine, everything's just fine. My Chanel, do you not know? No matter where you go, we'll walk hand in hand into our promised land. Yeah. My Chanel, do you not know? No matter where you go, we'll walk hand in hand into our promised land. My Chanel, to our promised land. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the show, to Sunday Night Live on this 21st. I look at my calendar, which is, I'm Future Boy, so because I'm in the UK, so we are ahead of the United States. Certainly we're ahead of the Central Time area by 6 hours, so it is already the 22nd of November here, but for you guys it's still the 21st. So yeah, welcome. We are marching through the year with alarming rapidity, it has to be said. But yeah, we are rapidly approaching Thanksgiving. Just had my daughter's 12th birthday this weekend, so it's been a very busy weekend. Basically, my daughter, when she has her birthday, she likes to have like the whole weekend. If her birthday falls on a weekend, she has the whole weekend for partying, basically. So it's been a busy one, but it's been a good one. I hope everyone is well and has had a good week. Like I said, we're kind of marching through 2021 with alarming speed, and before we know it, we're going to be hitting that particular period of the year that really shouldn't be referred to for another week, in my opinion, but opinions will vary on that one. Personally, for me, songs related to that particular period of the year should not be sung until next week at the earliest. However, I have been working on Christmas records. See, I even said it now. I've been working on Christmas records for the last 2 months. for various folks, various clients that I've been working with. I've been doing arrangements for a record. I've been playing on a different record, and I'm involved in a couple of Christmas concerts in the first week of December. In fact, I think the first week of December I'm fully booked for just about every night of the week for Christmas shows. So been doing rehearsals for those shows as well. So I'm all caroled out, and we haven't even got to Christmas yet. So, but you know, such is the life of a professional musician. That's kind of what we deal with. We rehearse, and we start working on Christmas material in September. So by the time we actually get to Christmas, you know, we've had enough of Christmas, and it hasn't even got to December. So. I guess, you know, we musicians, we go through that like every year. And so this would be probably my 37th year as a professional musician, having to do that. But there it is. So it's entertaining, to say the least. So yeah, I don't like to kind of talk about Christmas and Christmas carols and stuff until kind of we get into the last week of November, but there it is. And I'm sure you guys all have varying different opinions, which is something we could talk about, but like I said, I'd rather not talk about Christmas until at least next week. But rest assured, Jonny and I will be doing kind of Christmas themed stuff for Songwriting Simplified in the month of December. So you will definitely be Christmased out by the time we get to Christmas itself. So at least that's our plan anyway. So there it is. I hope everyone is well. And I already know who was first in the door to the show tonight. And that is Billy Morgan. And he was in like 45 minutes ahead of time, which is impressive. And he says, "Hi y'all, come on in, have a seat and enjoy the show." He pretty much stole Rich Cresswell's thunder, because that's the kind of thing that he would say. But there we go. So we'll do what we always do for Sunday Night Live at the moment. I am going to be kind of changing things up as we get into 2022 for Sunday Night Live. It's going to be for 2022, it's going to be a little bit more topic based, a little bit more kind of, we will actually delve into a certain aspect of Studio One or a certain aspect of music production that I think you guys will find valuable and helpful. But I will still be taking your questions, because this is kind of what Sunday Night Live started out as, really. It was kind of a Q&A kind of show, and I'm having to, for various reasons over the last 2 years, I've had to kind of go back to that a little bit more. So we will be getting to your questions. So start typing, folks. Start typing in your questions. But as I said, Billy Morgan's first in the door, followed by Rich, and Marcos is here as well over in Brazil. Just Bob apologizes, saying he's not going to be able to be here, but he's going to catch the replay. So Just Bob, I see you. I see you. Thomas over in the Philippines is here. Sean Aaron has a picture of a bird, I think. Dwayne is here. He says, as I often do, I'll be eating dinner as Sunday Night Live begins. I learn a lot by listening in. Well, that's awesome, Dwayne. I'm very, very glad that you are listening. And I'm sure kind of later on as the show develops, you'll be watching too, which is great. So I'm glad you're here. Kyle is here as well. Outs Media is here, who has just been made a mod in the chat. So that is one other person who I have asked to help keep an eye on the chat and make sure that it doesn't descend into politics or into anything controversial, and that we just keep it strictly to music production related subjects, Studio One, and PreSonus hardware, software, that kind of thing. Because that's where I want the show to stay. Thank you very much. So I'm sure you guys are incredibly well behaved, because I know you are. And my moderators don't have to do very much, and I'd like to keep it that way. But Alts Media is going to be helping out, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to see a lot more of him around. That's my good friend Louis. You're going to see a lot more of him around on this channel in coming weeks and coming months. It's exciting. There's things that we have been cooking up, and I'm not talking about my apple crumble, because my apple crumble kills people. So, but yeah, so he is here, and of course Jonny Guy at Home Studio Trainer is in the house. He says good evening, good morning, and James Giannoni is here as well. Who else do we have? Keith Riddle as well is here. And Mike over at Peace Valley Audio, he's another one of my mods, is here. Ambient Dave down in Hampshire in England is here. He asks how I am. I'm doing very well, thank you, Dave. Thanks for asking. It's very kind of you to ask. I appreciate it. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Always glad to have another Brit in the chat, which is cool. I don't know actually how many Brits we have who are crazy enough to be up at midnight watching me. But I'm glad you're here. Let's see. Ironweed Studios, Samuel Edwards is here. And I don't want to miss too many people. Secret Squirrel is here. I called you Secret Squirrel there. I apologize. He's here as well. Been talking to him offline a wee bit as well recently, which is nice. Rick Gran is here. Hello, Rick. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Let's see. Ghastly Baz Songs is here. He says, howdy, Jonny and everyone. Glad to see you here, Baz. You're very welcome. And Paul Morgan is here. I know Paul is a fellow Brit because he is in Scotland as well. So that is awesome. And Ski Jump Toes is here. He says, I'm Brit too. You need to add our time zone to your titles too. I'm not quite sure what you mean there. Because there aren't really any titles to this, really. It just says Sunday Night Live. That's pretty much it. But yes, I ought to. I mean, I think the vast majority of my audience is United States, Canada, Philippines, those kind of areas. But it is nice that I have a nice little collection, a nice little group of people that are here in the UK, which is awesome. Very, very glad to have my fellow Brits here. So I would like to do something for you, my fellow Brits. Maybe a little gathering of our own might be a good little idea. If you guys are up for that, then we should maybe get some dates thrown about when we can kind of do a Zoom call just for the Brits. That would be good. I'd like to do that. Keith is in South Lanarkshire. Of course you are, Keith. I was forgetting that. I apologize. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah. Jonny says, and he actually has the first question of the day. Evening, night, morning, whichever it is. He says, how many popular songs are comprised of a single chord throughout? There are definitely some. Don't know about like a single chord literally all the way through. I think there are some that have like a whole chord for maybe the verse and then maybe a couple of other chords for the chorus. I think you're referring to songs that are kind of more vamp orientated than kind of, having a set of chord changes for a verse. There's some good selections of songs that we could talk about maybe on a Songwriting Simplified show that are vamp orientated. And if you don't know what a vamp is simply a repeated section of music that goes throughout a particular part of a song. So sometimes you would vamp around a single chord for an intro and then launch off into the song. At other times, it can literally be the kind of the backbone for your verse or maybe the chorus or something like that. So harmonically, it's static. It's just sitting on one chord. There's a song that comes to mind. I just have to try and remember how to play it, which is kind of why I'm kind of fumbling, because I'm actually trying to remember how it goes. I wonder how quickly that will get a copyright strike. But that's one where kind of there's a large part of the song that is just based on this. That's just based in this G minor chord, and then you get this C minor, C minor, D minor, E flat major 7, D minor, which is I really love this little set of chord changes. I really like that. But that's one that I can think of. I mean, it doesn't exclusively just have one chord. Mind you, neither does Horse with No Name. That kind of has a little bit more than just one chord, but it is harmonically minimalist, and we have discussed that particular song at length on Songwriting Simplified. If you've never been to a Songwriting Simplified and you have no idea what I'm talking about a show that Jonny and I do together over on his channel, which is called The Home Studio Trainer. If you have no idea, I mean, it even says it in the chat that says Home Studio Trainer. If you've never seen anything that he and I have done together, we do this show on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time, and it's really, really good. We talk about songwriting, and we talk about arranging, we talk about composing, we talk about music theory, as it helps you develop your songs and develop your songwriting skills. But we've also done, like, I think there was a while back, we did a couple of months where we dedicated a couple of months to recording history, where we looked at the developments of recording technology and how we got to where we are now, which is, you know, with DAWs and that kind of thing. So if you've never been and checked that out, make sure you subscribe to Jonny's channel, Home Studio Trainer, and hit that notification bell as well whilst you're there. And then that way, when our show is out on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central, you can just get yourself along and check it out. It's a good show, and we'd really quite like to have a lot more viewers, which would be cool. So let's go back to questions. Since that was a good one, it was a good one to start with. Any Black Friday sales for Studio One artist user? You'll have to wait and see. I've just knocked my cup of tea. That is not cool. Hang on just a second. Amuse yourselves for just a moment. I'm trying to find something to wipe this all up with. Damn it. All right, we're back. So, yes, the answer to Old School Funkers Soul's question is you'll have to wait and see. One thing I will tell you that is absolutely the truth, I have no idea, and I think I said this last week, I have no idea what our sales and marketing folks get up to, or what they plot and plan. I know they always plot and plan, and I also know that they always plot and plan good things that are going to benefit you guys. So you're going to have to wait and see. Now, all you need to do is cast your mind back to Black Friday last year. Were there any sales for Studio One? Were there any sales and discounts on upgrades for Studio One last year? What about the year before that? So going back 2 years, were there any discounts on Studio One or discounts on Studio One upgrades and cross grades? You might be able to see a little pattern develop if you go back maybe 2 or 3 years as to what tends to happen. So yeah. I've missed a question according to Jonny, so I need to go back and get that. Where is it? Okay, I don't see one from Ski Jump Toes, but I do see one from Secret Squirrel. I don't think I see one from Ski Jump at that particular time. But Secret Squirrel says, I'm considering composing recreation of a classic with nephew. I'm wondering how you would approach it. What the kind of word is that I just said? I'm wondering how you would approach a contemporary approach Jingle Bells scale adjusted to multi-flat 6s and 7s. Okay, not quite entirely 100% sure what you're referring to. I get you're talking about doing a contemporary version of Jingle Bells. You know. You know, that's kind of what you're referring to. But you're talking about flat 6 and 7s, so you know, maybe doing something. Let's turn the reverb down a little bit. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun. And so on. So that's kind of what I would do. Something like that is what I would do. I would make it kind of a little bit more gospel orientated because that's kind of my leaning when it comes to things like carols. I like to do gospel versions of them. So that might be what I would do. And there's nothing really harmonically complicated there, just a G7. D flat 7. Going into the C. B7. B7 sharp 5. And then I might do. Something like that. So there's nothing really particularly harmonically complicated there. It's all kind of based around the whole idea of, I mean, what I did at the end there was a 2-5-1 in G. So A minor. And then walking up the bass to D7. Something like that would be maybe what I would do. All right, let's scroll all the way back down. And let's see if I can find the next question. Brit invasion tonight, absolutely. Yes, I will be getting mobbed in the streets. Yes, and probably people will want my autograph. Can do. It'll cost you though. Roy Nicolason is here. Hello, Roy. Good to see you. Says, I wonder how to A/B test with Native Studio One plugins. I find it difficult. It makes me use plugins from other companies. Do you have a way to do it? I missed something. I'm assuming by when you say A/B test Studio One plugins, you're referring to Studio One plugins of the same type. For example, different compressors. Well, there is an easy way. Let's see. Let's create just a simple track here in Studio One. So all I've done is just create a very, very simple track here. There's nothing major going on here. And if I go over to effects, let's say we want to compare the native compressor, just the bare bones basic compressor, just this guy here. And we want to compare that to the fat channel. Let's go and get the fat channel. Fat channel begins with F, Lipsham, come on. Let's go and get that open, and let's have a look at all the glorious options we've got here. So we'll get this guy going as well. Now, what you'll notice here is that there is a pin icon. You can go pin that, and then I can go and open the compressor. Let's just square that along a little bit. And I've got those both pinned. So what I can do now is I can set these to, or at least attempt to set these to similar controls, to similar parameters. So let's say we keep the ratio at 2:1, and we'll keep the bare bones basic default here. So the attack being 15 milliseconds, the release being 120, and then what we would do is we would try and match that with this guy here. There's only a peak reduction knob here. And we'd look to be doing the same amount of gain reduction. So if I was passing audio through this, we would want to just pick an amount of gain reduction that's going to be obvious, that you can hear clearly. So let's say we picked 6 dB of gain reduction. So I'd be looking to get this to the audio to be at 6 dB here, and then I would be looking to try and achieve the same over here. And the way that I would do that is I would bypass that, go and switch this guy on, and get this guy set up, and then I would use the gain controls here on both of these to level match them so that I'm not being fooled by volume, because that's something that can easily happen, particularly when you're working with compressors, is you can be fooled by volume. You can think, the louder one must sound better, rather than listening critically for the difference in tonal qualities between the tube compressor and the standard compressor. And then maybe I would go and change this one out for the FET compressor. Got a little bit more control, although this one's now going to be 4:1, so this would need changed up to 4. So if I just now set that to 4, and then I would try and do the same thing. So let's look at the release. I'm not going to be able to get the well, this is like a supremely fast attack, so this is going to be faster than this guy. So I'm not going to be able to achieve the same kind of attack and release settings. Maybe I would with the release, but not the attack, because the FET compressor is super duper fast. Even at its slower speed, it is super duper fast. So I would be looking again just to try and achieve the same amount of gain reduction, even if I can't match the attack and release. So I'd be trying to then use the input and output controls to not only get the same amount of gain reduction, but also level match. So again, these two plugins are balanced in terms of volume. And then that would help me be able to hear critically the difference between the FET and the standard again. And this is how you'd A/B. You just basically go between there and there, just bypassing a different one, until you kind of make a decision as to which one you want to use. And with the complete Fat Channel console collection, the Fat Channel collection volume 1 is what I was trying to say. There's a whole bunch of others. So you've got this Brit one, you've got this classic one, and then you got this one. This is pretty cool. Actually, I used this guy on drums a lot. And then we've got this guy, the Everest, which is nice. I like this one. Use this on vocals and guitars. And then we've got the FC670, which is equally cool. Use this on bass guitar pretty much all of the time. Okay, Roy says, I meant to AB2 settings. Plugin Alliance has got an ABC test. Yeah, that's kind of like what third-party plugins can do, is they can kind of develop their own kind of way of A-Bing different presets. With this, you kind of just have to select one and then go and select another. There's no kind of built-in button where you can have a different A-B, a different, you can't exactly load 2 presets in at once and then flip between the two. But that is a really nice feature request. I would definitely recommend you go and post that over at answers.presonus.com and get that in there. Now, you're talking about Plugin Alliance plugins. Plugin Alliance plugins, I'm not sponsored by in any way, shape, or form, but they are cool. They have a bunch of extremely cool plugins, which I would recommend any day of the week. Absolutely, would recommend Plugin Alliance. They're really good. The companies that they work with to form the alliance in the first place is very, very cool. And then support that they have is extremely good. And I know this because I have spoken to their support teams. I know them pretty well. They're a good bunch of folks. So my opinion would be go make a feature request for having like some kind of A-B button up here that you can kind of load a different preset into. Otherwise, you're just going to have to go and kind of flip between them. To be honest, if you're the kind of person that likes to use presets, you know what? I'm not against presets. I think presets are great because they give you a really good starting point. But for me personally, I don't use them a lot. I tend to just dial in what I need when I need it. I know I generally speaking know what sound I'm looking for from a compressor or an EQ. So most of the time I know instinctively what I want to grab. So like I said, this compressor here, I use this on bass guitars pretty much all the time. And if I can't get what I want out of this guy, I'll go straight over to this guy. But for the most part, I'll use this guy, and I just dial this in to how I want for that particular bass guitar. Because here's the thing, this is where presets kind of have a shortfall, and that is presets are designed to produce a certain set of results. But here's the thing, they don't know what the audio was recorded like. They don't know what it sounds like. So how can a preset know what kind of compression settings to do for a particular piece of audio? They don't, which is why I say that they're a good starting point, but you should never just slap on a preset and leave it. Sometimes you find a preset that just instantly works, in which case, why change it? Just go with it. But for the most part, that's not going to happen very often. For the most part, you're going to want to make some changes to taste for your particular audio, your particular source audio that you're using that particular plugin on. It's not going to be that the preset would just give you exactly what you want every time. There are advertisements that will say that is exactly what presets do, but in reality they don't, because they can't predict what your source audio is going to be like. Your source audio might have been recorded really, really badly. If you're recording a bass guitar, it might be that some of the electrics was a little bit screwed up on the bass, or it could be that the cable's not that great. It could be that the converter was being overdriven. when it was recorded. No plugin in the world is going to be able to predict that. So you're going to have to kind of adjust the taste. But I think you know that. And I think you know what I'm talking about there. But yeah, I think that's a great little little feature request for sure, Roy, definitely. Ambient Dave says there's a lot of great stock plugins in Studio One I've recently discovered. Still got loads to learn too. Yes, there really are. And you know what? Here's the thing. I used Cubase for around about 30 years. And before that, I used another Steinberg product. But kind of even during my long, protracted Cubase period, I also used Pro Tools. I also used Logic before Apple bought it, when you could still use it on a PC. And Ableton Live I've used as well. I've used several different DAWs over the years. But here's the thing. For the most part, just about every DAW has really good stock plugins. They really are good. Now, in the case of Studio One, I think they are outstanding stock plugins. I think they are amongst the best that are made free of charge, just there, built into the DAW. I think that's amazing. And I think these, certainly since they have been overhauled for Studio One 5, I think they really are genuinely outstanding plugins now. They were great before. They were good in version 3. And in Studio One 4, they were made better. So they were really, really good. Now, I personally think that the native plugins in Studio One for Studio One 5 are now outstanding, I think. If I put them alongside Cubase, I think that they would demolish Cubase stock plugins, hands down. Now, in Cubase, there are some stock plugins that they have that we don't have in Studio One. It's just a difference of feature sets, but for the most part, they are great. Let's see. Ghastly Baz says, store the settings as presets and switch between the two saved settings. Yes, that is a very good alternative idea. Johnny Guy says, we disagree on presets. I rarely use presets. I'm not against them, and I would never say never. But I just don't. I just dial in what I need from a particular plugin. I know what I'm after. I think that's what I was trying to say. You know, if I'm recording my fretless bass at the back there, I will use the FC670 on it, no question about it. Because I like the way it sounds and I like what it does, particularly for my bass. But, you know, for the most part, for most bass guitars, that's what I'll do. Sometimes I won't use the FC670. Sometimes I'll just use a FET, you know, the FET compressor. It kind of depends on the bass guitar, and it kind of depends upon the way it's recorded. But for the most part, I'm going to reach for the FC670 pretty much every time. Am I going to use the bass guitar presets on there? Probably not. Not that they're bad, because they're not bad. But I just don't think I would. I just don't think I would ever use them, particularly, to be honest. But yeah, that's just kind of my opinion. I just tend to go with, you know, how they're set in default and then adjust from there. Because I know what I'm after. Oh, gotcha. Okay, Johnny. I misunderstood. But you posted that before I really explained. Cool. Okay. All right. So we got that cleared up, which is awesome. As someone mentioned above, you can set up an AB with Channel Editor. Yes, that's another way to do it. Yes, Channel Editor will certainly do that for you. You can set one. I can quickly show you, because that would be cool. If you want to do it with Channel Editor, it's actually just as easy as well. But here's the thing. Channel Editor is not in all versions of Studio One. It is just a professional version thing. But right now I've got the compressor and fat channel in line. How do I do that? I need to drag in a splitter. Let's put the splitter up here. And then what we'll do is we'll move that one to there, we'll move that one to there, and then I can have that one set there, and then I can have this one set to something else. So, you know, like, let's say just, you know, default like that. I can certainly do that. And then I can just go doink, 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 doink. And I can flip between the two just as easily using the channel editor with the two different presets. So that's a nice, easy way to do it. There we go. So I hope that helps. Ski Jump Toes says Cubase compressors are weak, I find. Logic and Studio One are much better and offer character. It's been a long time since I've used Cubase, but certainly back when I was using it, I didn't think they were the best compressors. For sure. Rich says, not sure why, but Open Air is slowly becoming one of my favorite stock plugins. I don't hear any people talking about it. Can we show the folks for those that don't know? Yeah, Open Air is a reverb, but it is a special type of reverb because it is kind of what we call a convolution reverb. Now, this is particularly cool. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to hello. I don't know if you can hear this. I don't know whether you can, you're hearing me twice, that's annoying. Let's do that. I don't know whether this is going to come through. Hang on, if I do that, there. Okay, now my voice is only coming through Studio One. And there's a whole ton of plates and all sorts here. There's so many presets, it's bonkers what you have here. Hello! Hey! Dark plate. Let's wait for that to load in. Hello! Oh, that's quite good. And then there's these spring reverbs. I've got these. These are apology reverbs. Let's go with this one. So what this one's like. Hello. Hello. Ah, that's nice. Let's try a different one. Let's try 7 second. Hello. That's nice. Open Air is great. It most certainly is. Definitely. Very cool. I like it. So there's an absolute ton of different options here. Let's try this one. Nice. Hello. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Open Air. Open Air. So there you go. There we go. Okay, so I'm back to normal now. Billy Morgan says, can't find a good stock spring reverb. Well, there are plenty in here. There are plenty of plates. There's all of these. Yeah, I don't know. Is there any springs here? Maybe not. Maybe not any springs. But there's certainly a whole ton of different things that you can choose from. And these are actually all available, the Convology ones are all available from the Persona shop. And they are all designed to work in open air. So I heartily recommend you go get those. They're actually very, very, very reasonably priced for what you get, to be really honest. So I heartily recommend you go and get those. Still here. I had to hear JL play with the reverb. Yes, absolutely. I love open air. Particularly for vocals, I use it a lot. Maybe I'll use Maybe I would use room reverb for other things. But for things like vocals, background vocals, I'm gonna use open air. And I'll use room reverb for other things, like maybe putting like horns in the background, stuff like that, or anything I want to sit further back in the mix. I might use room reverb for that, but for the most part, open air does exactly what I want it to do, and there's just so many options. It's ridiculous. Definitely well worth grabbing. Ironweed says, I did see a spring on there. You might have seen a spring over here in these ones, the vintage spring reverbs from the Convology collection. There's an absolute ton of those. I'm not seeing any here. There might be some further down though. There's some reverse. I hadn't tried these. Let's try some reverse. Just to see what that is like. Hang on. Right. Oh, that's cool. I did not know you could do this. That says reverser, but it really isn't reversing. But that is really cool. I love this. That's how you get that full kind of gate reverb kind of thing, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing any spring reverb amongst this one here. So, many reflections, many. Oh, that's quite cool. I'm trying to clear the channel. There we go. Let's clear that. Let's go back up to here. So, yeah, there's some good ones. That's weird. That is just spooky. And as Rich says, you can load WAV files into this. So you can load your own IR files into this, your own impulse responses into open air, and either ones that you create yourself, or there are some others that are on Exchange, Personas Exchange, and you can go and grab those, and you can just drag and drop them and load them straight into open air. Those are very cool. All right. Turn that off and turn that back on. But yeah, it's way too much fun. Rich says, open air, best used as a send on an effects channel. Yes, absolutely. I would not recommend using open air as an insert for a variety of reasons, not least of which that because it is a Convology type reverb, it uses quite a bit more resources for it to work. So if you've got these on inserts across all of your channels, or across a bunch of your channels, it will eat up your CPU for breakfast, dinner, and tea. I can guarantee it. But if you use it as a send to an effects channel or to a bus, if you're the kind of person that likes to use buses rather than effects channels, then yes, that would be my recommended way of using open air, because you can then send a whole bunch of different channels to the one reverb. So definitely go and try that out. That's the one disappointment with Sphere. I still had to buy spring reverbs. Well, you know, it is what it is. Like Mike says, open air is a convolution reverb. It more recreates spaces and rooms than amps and springs. Yeah. Although it also has a whole bunch of plates as well, so they are emulations of plates that are built in there as well. For sure. Ski Jump Toes says, get a field recorder and create your own IRs is real nice hobby if you enjoy getting out in nature whilst combining music hobby. I love finding bridges and forests and stuff like that. Yes, and you can, if there's like either a bridge or a tunnel or something like that, like some kind of cavernous space, you can just sample that and load that up into open air. And then you've got your own kind of bespoke cavernous reverb that nobody else in the world will have. Definitely worth getting. For sure. All right, we've got about 5 minutes left of the show. I mean, Dave says evil vocals with open air. Yes, absolutely. Alrighty. Let's see what else we got. Johnny Gibe says there are so many great free spring reverbs out there. Yes, there are. There's loads. There are absolutely loads of free all sorts of things. Free sound effects, free reverbs, free plugins. There's loads of stuff out there. What's an IR? An IR, the letters IR in this case stand for impulse response, and it is basically the methodology that is used to create an emulation of an actual space, an actual room, or a chamber of some kind, or a plate. And that's how the presets that we just went through for open air, that's how they're all created. They are created using impulse responses. So, how does that work? Well, you take a pulse of sound, like a finger click or something like that, and you sample that, and you sample the room. And then you load that information from that room sample into open air, and you can then use that room to put anything you want into that room via an effect send. So, for example, you could capture a cavern or, I don't know, a massive hole in the ground or something, and then load that into open air, and then play your guitar into Studio One dry, but through the effects send, have that sound placed in that cavernous hole in the ground. So that's kind of how that works. There you go. And Rich has a pretty good scientific explanation here. He says an impulse response is the return of a single cycle click used to trigger the sound of a room or space. And John Lake asks, what does bespoke mean? Bespoke means made for purpose. So, for example, a bespoke tuxedo, a bespoke set of tires for a car. So, for example, if you live in one of those parts of the world where you get a lot of ice and a lot of snow in the winter, you will want a set of winter tires for your car. So you will get bespoke tires for a particular situation, particular circumstance. That means that your car is not going to go slip sliding all over the road. So that's what bespoke means. Ironweed Studio says, hi Johnny, I know you had a live event yesterday, but do you plan to do more Saturday midnight shows? That is a question for Johnny Gibe, and I'm sure he will answer that one for you. The Cavern Club. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody has not already done that one. Impulse response is something my customers at work do. Yeah, I can relate to that. In some cases, for sure. And I can't speak. Ski jump toes with the joke of the night. A bee spoke and the other bees listened. I like it. Does Studio One have any kind of Leslie rotating speaker? Yes, it does. I can show you that. And that will be the last thing that we do tonight. Let's get back over here. And we will go down the effects here. And there it is. It's called Rotor. Imaginatively enough. And this is what it looks like. And as you can see, it pretty much looks very like a Leslie speaker cabinet. Now, what I can do is I can open up another track here. And I'm going to put this onto input right. And we'll call this Hammond. And then what we'll do is we'll go and grab that and we'll put that over there. Oops. And we'll remove that there. And I'm going to record enable this so that you can hear it. And I'm going to take the piano off there. And we'll go for preset 2. And then what I can do is I can speed that up. And I can change the speed of the horn and the woofer as well. So if you want it kind of really, really fast like that. Works quite nice, and then you can add a little bit of drive to it just for fun, a little bit of open the cue of the horn a little bit. Sounds pretty good, I think you'll find. And then you can, of course, have it on the slow setting as well. So there, I hope that works for you. All right, so I hope you like that. There's a Leslie actually built into my own Hammond. Here, I'm going to turn that off so we don't get doubling. So there's one built into the keyboard, which is nice, handy. All right, so there we go. Wonder if it would work on a pipe organ. It would. I've tried it on a pipe organ, and it does sound weird. I'll tell you that much. It sounds weird, but it sounds weird in a kind of fun kind of way. So, all right, folks, we're going to call it there. Thanks very much, everybody, for coming and for your great questions. You guys have been awesome, as per usual. And I will see you all on Wednesday over on Jonny's channel for Songwriting Simplified. And we will not be talking about Christmas. We will not be talking about Christmas songs because we're not into December. But pretty much when we get into December, we'll probably start doing that. Without actually playing any Christmas songs. But we'll certainly be talking about what makes good Christmas songs and what makes bad Christmas songs. And creative and imaginative ways in which you can arrange Christmas songs. Like, for example, if you have like a Christmas performance that you would like to put on and you want to do something unique with Christmas songs, we can certainly do that. All right, folks, I'm going to bid you all a very good night. Thanks a lot for coming, and I'll see you all, as I said, over on Wednesday, over on Jonny's channel for Songwriting Simplified. I'm losing the will to speak. Take care, folks. Good night. Everything's against me, my back against the wall, holding all the worst cards I feel 2 feet tall. I'll stand and shout, no holding back. Do or die, gonna dig myself a hole. Oh, do or die, gonna dig myself a hole. Now I'm hanging tough and I'm never falling back. When defense fails, I'm going on the attack.